Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the City of Binghamton's Commission on Architecture, Urban Design, and Historic Preservation. My name is John Darrow, and I am the chairman of the board. We are going to do a roll call of our attendees here today, starting on my left.
Robert Heary, Corporation Counsel. Dan Need, Commissioner.
Earl, Commissioner.
Brian Haas, Commissioner.
David Whalen, Commissioner. Dylan Pelton, Planning.
Burling, the planning director.
We are glad you're all here. Welcome, everybody. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Caud Commission for July 2nd, 2024. For those of you not able to attend, it is a public meeting. You are able to attend by clicking the link below to join the webinar. It is https://us/web.us/j/85639135926. Webinar ID 856-3913-5926. If you wish to dial in by phone in the United States, 1-646-931-3860, specifically to New York, 1-929-205-6099. Thank you all. I'm going to start off by making a motion to approve the meetings of the last meeting as presented. Do I have any discussion, any comments, or is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Need. All in favor? Good. Nick, could you just state your name for the record? I'm sorry you came in a little behind us. Or speak loud. Glad you're here. Always a pleasure. Okay, minutes of the meeting have been approved and passed. That is out of the way. Give me 1 second, please. And the first thing on our agenda today is going to be 183 Water Street. And I turn it over to our head of department.
The City of Binghamton would like to install exterior screening and lights on the outside of the new parking garage.
Are you the representative of the applicant, Your
Yes,
Honor?
I am.
Please make your case.
Sure. So thanks, everyone. We have the new Water Street parking garage, which the precast concrete is in right now. And in order to enhance the downtown aesthetics and just the general curb appeal of the building, we're looking to add some screening and lighting to address kind of the monolithic aspects of the building, break it up a little bit, and then have the ability to have this as a nice aesthetic lighted building in the downtown at the nighttime. I know at the last Caud meeting, there were some initial renderings presented. Caud has been supplied with some additional renderings of what it will look like in the daytime and the nighttime. The streetscape around the garage will be handled by the Deco Phase 2 Streetscape Improvement Project. So new lighting, landscaping, plantings, traffic signals, et cetera, will be in that area to enhance pedestrian safety as well as enhance the streetscape, very much like is seen on State Street. And I believe that has already been approved by Caud. Essentially, we're looking to screen these areas of the garage with industry standard screening materials. One of the challenges that we had is on the top of the garage, we had these columns extending beyond the horizontal spans. So finding a way to kind of cap those and make it a complete look for the garage was important to us. This screening has been vetted by our architects and the general contractor that works with the garage. Obviously, this was a unique precast type construction. So we needed a screening that kind of matched the design originally of the garage, and then something that is, attractive, modern for the downtown area. In the areas that the screening is not included on the garage, the facade facing Water Street, as well as a vertical column, that's needed for ventilation of the garage itself. So the screening could not go around per code all facade square footage of the garage. But in those spaces where there is not the screening, we feel that it's a great opportunity for an investment in public art an on-building mural that certainly would be, have to come back to Caud for your sign off. But we view that as another opportunity to add some color, add some nice design elements to this garage. So as I said, the precast has been installed. We're looking for approval to get these screenings and lighting done so it can be accomplished. We have set a date of trying to get the garage, at least one floor of it open by Thanksgiving timeframe to support Boscov's and all of the many small businesses that are in downtown Binghamton. So that is our plan, again, to try to make it more aesthetically pleasing, not just the blank concrete structure that you see in so many other parking garages. And we advanced a design that really worked for the garage itself while staying up to code with what's needed in terms of the ventilation, and certainly cost was a consideration as well.
Thank you, sir. Jonathan, would you state your name for the record? You came in just a few minutes late.
Jonathan Weisberg, Caud Commissioner.
Thank you for being here. We've had the presentation. Are there any comments or discussion? I'm very partial to what I see.
Yeah, I like how the with the broken up facade, like especially if the mural goes in, kind of adds a nice scale element.
I think it's cool. Then I'm gonna. Do you have a question or a comment?
No, I think it's much more aesthetically pleasing than
I do
the
too.
regular ramp,
I'm
especially.
gonna make a motion to approve it as presented. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
I think he beat you.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he edged you out.
Quick.
That's my call.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, sir. Always a
Thank you.
pleasure. Okay, 191 Court Street, the Phelps Mansion. Come on down.
Hi. I'm Jennifer Corby. I'm the Executive Director of the Phelps Mansion Museum. This is Tom Keefe, our contractor.
Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
We have wonderful plans here. Do you wish to make a statement, sir?
So the applicant would like to replace the side deck stairs in kind using the same dimensions, paint colors, and basically the original structure. The railing that's on the porch at the time is Titchener late 1800s, and it has to be worked around. So the stairs have to have a set pitch to them. So that it all basically has to be replaced in kind.
I like it. Do you wish to add anything to that?
I'm sorry.
Do you wish to add anything to that, sir?
No, we're gonna just, basically, we're gonna replicate everything that's there. So it, preserves the look that is currently there.
Any questions, comments? I wish more people did this. Then I'm going to make a motion to accept the application as presented, and I'm looking for a second. Jonathan took this one. We have a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Make it look good. Okay. '60 Morgan Road, City of Binghamton. Looks like Ross Park to me.
This is actually us, the planning department.
Us.
It is
Okay.
us. The city of Binghamton would like to rebuild the new shelter to house the carousel. We're under certain restrictions due to SHPO's resilience to change the design of the structure. Basically, they kind of forced us to rebuild.
Sorry, I'm right next.
They forced us to rebuild the old structure as is, but it's going to be moved and outside of the primary fence. So we have to close it somehow for vandalism, etc.
Are there any renderings of the original structure? To me, this has been modified through the years. I thought as a kid, I recalled like glass walls around a little similar to Rec Park. I'm asking.
The only thing we have is from 1922, that structure. It's open.
I don't recall seeing it ever enclosed or partially enclosed. That would be great if we had that.
I used to go up there to ride the Ferris wheel and the train and all the fun stuff, look at the buffalo.
I remember the train,
Okay.
but SHPO asked us to not fully enclose or fully weatherize it. So our design is retractable garage doors. And when they're fully opened, they can't be seen, so there's still the free flowing air that was so crucial to this type of design. But we can enclose it in the winter months or secure it at night. So we're still working that through with them, but first we wanted to have review by this committee, so.
I'm gonna ask a silly question.
mhm.
So when the garage doors are retracted, will they be at alternating heights interior to the building so they don't hit coming in because they're gonna be coming in at angles?
You have that,
Sounds like an engineering thing.
That's a
doesn't it?
good question.
Sorry.
That's a very good
I
question.
thought so, yeah. I get kudos for that question, don't I?
It's also an engineering firm question.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, because it has to be functional. My other comment from aesthetics would be, so this isn't the final phase, but I would like to see when the doors are closed, something maybe aesthetically a little more pleasing, maybe an arched window or something. It's a garage door, you can do anything you want, but I think it enhance the exterior appearance of the carousel and or maybe even with mural carousel horses going around when the doors are down. I know they put me in here. I didn't volunteer.
will you go back to that rendering there? We were trying to keep as much solid glass in it as possible to keep the appearance that it's not there.
Okay.
So if we put any type of door,
They would
any type of,
conflict with SHPO.
yeah, we
understand.
actually had the supporting beams made thinner.
Mhm.
So it'd be match more what was there. So it made it a little tricky to get the garage. I think they made the pitch a little steeper or flatter so we could get the
Get the
garage
doors up.
doors all the way up. Um,
I like it regardless.
Okay,
So our approval in this is going for the upper photo with functioning garage doors to protect the
Yeah.
carousel structure
yeah,
at this
that's what
time.
we've proposed to
Okay,
ship out now.
Will color selection be forthcoming?
Colors?
Yeah,
Paint.
colors.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it as close to the original as possible, so. But since that roof has been replaced quite often.
It was hard to convince SHPO that this was different than the actual carousel. So my hopes are that we can just get it built, let alone the color.
But
Yeah.
we will bring all, their color, when they finally approve it, we'll keep everybody up to date on that. So,
any other questions, comments? I like what I see, given that we don't have a big selection here and we have to protect it. Then,
They won't see the garage doors when they're on the carousel and that,
when it's fully opened, no,
but
yeah.
they'll roll up or are they?
They slide up, I think.
Yeah, they slide up. That's the idea.
Yeah,
I just don't want them to ruin the look of the.
It was actually part of SHPO's deal that they couldn't be visible while they were up. So
so there'd be like a false
good.
ceiling, they go up above the ceiling, still get the brass ring. Or the
Yeah.
brass ring,
of
okay,
course.
I'm not really sure what the engineers have in mind, but
doubt they do. I'll make a motion to approve the 60 Morgan Road project as presented. Okay. Any second?
I'll second.
Well, before we jump into
Oh, I'm
that, is
sorry.
the idea that they're gonna come back for the colors or?
That's what she said on the record.
I don't know if we have a choice because SHPO's got to tell us.
So this is the preliminary approval pending SHPO's review and then final aesthetics come before us. That's my understanding. Yeah. That was all encompassed in my motion, I hope. I forgot who was this. Yes? It is now. I forgot who was the second. Jonathan. Okay, I'm going to go with Jonathan. All in favor? And we're not horsing around here. Okay, it passes. Oh, come on. This is the most fun commission you ever see in the city of Binghamton. We're here all weekend. Tip your waiters and waitresses well. I think we're very lucky that we're being able to keep our carousels. Should have kept the train. Okay, next on the agenda, get my glasses on so I can read. 7 Livingston Street. Father, I believe that's you. If I wasn't loud enough, sorry. Goodness sakes. Does us constitute identifying yourselves for the record? For that presentation? And yeah, us, it's us. Okay. Well, we all know who you are. I'm just making sure, you know. Welcome, Father and Father Associate. Please state your names for the record.
I'm Father Jim Sarowik. I'm the pastor of St. John and Andrew Parish in Binghamton.
Glad you're here, sir.
I'm Dave West. I'm trustee of the parish of St. John and Andrew.
Glad you're here, sir. Okay, remember you from last month, we had some questions, and have those questions been answered or resolved?
And this is a rendering of what they're planning on doing with the space once the convent is demolished.
Okay. Not obstructing anyone's view, am I? Some people say that's my good side. Or my good
They're
practice.
basically gonna make an unfenced yard in front of the school.
I think it looks nice.
I do too. That's going from. And is that the pre-existing playground directly behind it?
Yeah, yep.
You want to add anything, Father or friend with Father? Okay,
Well, I had some nicer renderings that I wanted to present, but one is a school bus sitting in front of the lot, and another is our head of our maintenance and our parish secretary, one pushing a lawnmower and the other using a weed whacker on that lawn.
that sounds like purgatory to me. These poor guys would be there forever. You know, one time I was in Florida, not to stray, and this fellow had moved down from Michigan because he never wanted to shovel snow again in his life. And a terrible storm had come through, and there he was with a snow shovel shoveling sand off the sidewalk back onto the beach. And I don't know what he did in a past life, but they caught up with him. I like what I see. I would make one comment because it is a playground that maybe you should consider some hedges to obstruct the playground from the streetscape, keeping the kids' safety in mind. The world is a different place than when we grew up, and a little privacy might be to your benefit.
And this might be more of an insurance thing, not our purview, but
Yeah.
you might want fencing along the side where there's that kind of drop off.
Yeah.
If there's a retaining wall there.
I didn't hear that question.
You might,
With a comment.
someone might require you to have fencing along the side where there's the fall hazard.
On the west side,
Yeah.
No, actually, that's all flat.
Oh, okay.
That's all flat. It's just that. No, it's all flat.
okay.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's all flat.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Then I'm gonna go with it. I'm on a roll today. I make a motion to approve the presentation for 7 Livingston Street for the green space and the demolition of the pre-existing home. We have to go through Secor for that also.
They're a lead agency and hold it.
Okay, so we're gonna do that with a recommendation that you consider doing some shrubberies or something to give the playground a little more privacy. Okay, please remain seated. We got some bureaucratic things to go through, and then I think you're gonna have a good day.
That's doable.
Okay, I thought you could do that, Mr. West. Okay, so first thing, 7 Livingston Street, we have to declare it an unlisted action. I make a motion to declare 7 Livingston Street an unlisted action. Second, Jonathan, you're on the ball today. Sharon, be proud of you. All in favor? I make a motion to declare Caud the lead agency for 7 Livingston Street's undeclared action. Thank you. I get you trained yet. I have the motion in the second. All in favor, the lead agency. Okay. Now I think it's up to Mary Ellen. Dan, taking the spot for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna getting you groomed here.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action, create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Can't remember how to say it.
There being, yeah, I can't either.
Make a
Nothing in the
motion to declare
affirmative.
it
We make a
Motion
motion,
to declare a negative declaration.
negative declaration. Okay. I'll second the motion. All in favor? Okay. Dan, you're up.
All right, so we have the compatibility with historic guidelines. The City of Binghamton Historic Design Guidelines provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the City of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. The building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of the street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. I would say that this structure is not in conflict with any of those guidelines and may be demolished.
So we have a motion for no historic significance. Second, Mary Ellen, all in favor? Gentlemen, make yourself some green
Thank you.
space. Thank you.
very much.
It's approved. Okay, so now next on our agenda, 8 Gray Street, Broome County Land Bank. Come on down, sir. Glad you're here. Gonna ruin the dress code for the rest of us walking in the jacket like that.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for having me. My name is Robert O'Donnell. I'm the Assistant Director of the Broome County Land Bank. If it appeases the committee, I'm willing to address both 8 Gray and 170 Moeller at the same time, as they're essentially the same request.
I'm okay with that if we,
They're in charge, they're own both, so yeah.
okay.
do we
So
want to take care of Brian now? Do we want to take care of Brian now before we get
Excuse
into?
yourself?
Yep. I, Brian Haas, recused myself from the next 2 cases on the account that my wife is the executive director.
You are recused, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, now proceed.
Yep. So as it relates to both 8 Gray Street and 170 Moeller Street, in partnership with the Broome County government, the land bank acquired these properties for a rehabilitation program through our affordable homes program. Also in partnership with the city of Binghamton, we are the recipient of an ARPA grant in order to undertake the rehabilitations of these 2 properties. As it relates to the 2 properties, which we plan to fully rehabilitate, both garage structures are in a state of disrepair. As it relates to 8 Gray Streets, it has a significant lien on it. And as it relates to 170 Moeller Street, if not more than half of the roof has collapsed on the structure. We have run these through SHPO determination. They have determined that there is no historical significance on these garages. And so we're before you today in order to approve the demolition of these garages, though it is part of the greater rehabilitation of the homes.
Okay. And once the garages are removed, what is the plan for the space?
So right now, we are currently in determinations with our architectural firms for 8 Gray Street. It is L2 Studios, and for 170 Weller Street, it is Delta Engineers as it relates to the determination. No final determinations have been made as it relates to the whether what to put in those spots, whether it's to rebuild the garages, but we're currently working on that now.
Kind of need to know what's going on, don't we?
So currently the post-use plan is up in the air.
Correct. We're right now working on the architectural designs for the entire rehabilitation of the homes and what to do as it relates to the spots. I know right now 8 Gray Street has a carport currently at the home. And as you can see from the photo, there's not a lot of space in order for contractors to get back into the backyard as it relates to our basement. The basement entryway is outside of the home. There's no
Well,
inside
I'm
way to
going
get.
to interrupt you for a minute. What we're looking for, once that garage is down, what's going to happen to that footprint of the garage? Driveway, lawn, new garage, don't you know yet?
We because we haven't determined the full scope of the projects yet, we haven't determined whether or not, as it relates to budgetary constrictions on the projects, whether or not at minimum, it would be additional yard space.
Okay.
But if it's feasible to replace the garage, it's something we're considering right now.
Okay. I look on these as a safety issue. Can we proceed without the plan? Yes, okay, okay. Thank you. I just had to clarify that. Okey doke. Any discussion, comments on the garage at 8 Gray Street at this time? From what I saw, it's a safety issue. I personally think it needs to get erased. Okay,
So one option is the board could approve it just as to green space. And then if there was something that changed down the road, they could
They
come
would have to
back
to do it.
to see if it would be acceptable to swap something else out.
So let me ask a question while we're on that line of thought. Is there is obviously pre-existing parking space under the garage, concrete floor, blacktop or whatever. Would we be okay with the removal, demolition of the garage with the maintenance of the parking space if they wanted to?
If they do rebuild these garages, they would have to go through planning commission anyways.
I
So
was thinking, so he mentioned green space, but if we remove it, there is a footprint for the pre-existing parking space where there was a car under the garage. That would be an acceptable thing because he's not removing the parking space, he's removing the structure above it. Okay, so okay, I'm just trying to get focused here. At my advanced years, that's not easy. Any other comments or questions or? Okay, then I am motion first and unlisted then need.
yeah, and both addresses need it separate.
Okay, yeah. So I am going to make a motion for 8 Gray Street that Caud is that it's an unlisted action. Looking for a second. Thank you, Jonathan. All in favor? Thank you. Passes. Going to make a motion that it is an unlisted action. Looking for a second. I'm going over here. Thank you, sir. All in favor? Got it. Mary Ellen, you're up.
Okay. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. I make a motion to declare this a negative declaration.
I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Dan, you're up.
So the compatibility with the historic guidelines for the city of Binghamton provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the city of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. A building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of a street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. I do not see the structure in conflict with any of these guidelines. Therefore, the structure may be demolished.
I second that. All in favor? Okay, so the motion is passed. You can tear down your garage. You have to keep two things in the back of your mind. You have a pre-existing footprint for a parking space, which you can maintain. Okay, if you're going to do something else, you have to come back before us to determine what else you want to do. If you remove that pre-existing footprint of that parking space, it's going to revert to green space. Okay, just going forward. Okay. Thank you. Now, let's get to your next project.
And then the 170 Weller, which again has been approved by SHPA, was having a determination of no significance. And as you can see from the photos, this one is already partially collapsed. I'm not sure, as you mentioned, as it relates to the footprint underneath. Obviously for safety concerns, ourselves and our architectural firm have not entered the structure.
I wouldn't go within 5 feet of it.
And this isn't technically a garage. This is a tool shed. There's no asphalt underneath. It's just an outbuilding.
Okey doke. So, gonna make a motion that Caud is, that this is an unlisted action. Looking for a second. Thank you, John. The lead agency. I'm sorry, John, that Caud is the lead agency. Second, Jonathan, all in favor? And then in my confusion, I'm gonna make a motion that it's an unlisted action. Jonathan beat you to it. All in favor? Get your hand up, Mary Ellen. Thank you. No coercion here. Okay, Mary Ellen, you're up for the tool shed.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. I make a motion to declare a negative declaration.
I second the motion. All in favor? Dan?
All right. So compatibility with the historic guidelines for the city of Binghamton stipulate the following. For demolitions, do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the city of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. The building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of the street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. I don't see this structure in conflict with any of these guidelines. The structure may be demolished.
I second the motion for demolition for the tool shed. All in favor? You got your tool shed gone. Now there's no blacktop or anything under the tool shed. It's going to revert to green space, part of the yard. I want to touch on the house. That's probably, it's nothing to do with the judgment here, it's probably one of the original farmhouses on that side of town. And if I were to throw a stone in a puddle, I'd probably date it about 1830, 1840. You've got quite a treasure, and I hope you do some justice to it while you're doing the work.
I appreciate that. Yes, our plan is to fully rehabilitate the home, and as part of our affordable homes program, we sell them to low to moderate income individuals and families. And we're, based on the other projects we currently have undertaking in the city of Binghamton, we hope to return that house to its glory days of old.
Wonderful. If there are any articles of significance, original staircase, fireplace mantles, windows that you're contemplating removing or replacing, please keep the Preservation Association in mind. And of course, your exterior work has to come back before us.
Will do.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have 9 Bayless Avenue. Come on down, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Wish to end my recusal and rejoin the commission.
The commission recognizes Mr. Haas. Welcome back. We missed you. Name for the record, sir.
David Brewster, State Farm Insurance.
Glad you're here, Mr. Brewster.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Dylan, do you want to make the presentation? Then we'll.
Could you just repeat your name into the microphone?
David Brewster.
So the applicant Kathleen Kellogg would like to demolish the fire damaged property and rebuild the same location.
So our approval here would be strictly for the demolition. Okay, so I understand what we're doing for it. So it's just for the demolition today. You have to come back for plans to build. You understand, right?
That would be up to Ms. Kellogg at that point.
Okay, that's good. Okay, then so I get it correctly. An unlisted action? Lead agency. Befuddled my old age. I make a motion to declare Caud or declare this an unlisted action. Do I have a second? Mary Ellen, what? Do I? Son of a gun.
All right, let's try that again.
I understand. It was a long weekend. I make a motion that Caud is the declared lead agency for 9 Bayless Avenue. Mary Ellen, second. All in favor? Now I make a motion that it is an unlisted 9 Bayless is declared an unlisted action. Mary Ellen, all in favor? Thank you. Mary Ellen. Sir, smile. This is the most fun commission in the city of Binghamton. We have a good time. We earn our $30 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affecting existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. I therefore make a motion to declare this a negative declaration.
I second the motion for negative declaration. All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes. Dan, you're up. Unless you want
All
to
right.
make somebody else do the work. You
Is
have
anyone
that.
else interested?
You are the vice chairman, as I recall.
No,
You-
no. Gentleman over there is the vice chair.
Oh, you're the
Yeah.
vice chair. I apologize. Oh, no, you're vice chair, you're vice chair, and when I'm not here, you are. Or if I have to recuse myself, you then step in.
You have to
Okay.
grow out a beard ahead of time too, so.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. This isn't gonna look like this next month, don't worry. Okay, I think you're still up there.
Okay, yep. So compatibility with the historic guidelines, provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the city of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult to or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. A building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of a street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. The proposed demolition does not appear to be in conflict with these guidelines. I make a motion to approve the demolition.
I second the motion. All in favor? Wonderful. So you can have the building demolished. Okay, it will, in the meantime, revert to green space until such time as she pulls permits for construction and submits plans for her new building. Okay, thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next on the agenda. 17 Jackson Street, come on down.
I don't know if there's anybody here to come on down.
And I was hoping to see Mr. Torto. I like Jimmy. He's a lot of fun.
See if I can get him on the phone.
Yeah, please. He's probably doing a street repair someplace. In the interest of full disclosure, he was one of my tenants for several years in the 90s. I don't think it makes a difference, but probably not. Yeah, I do too. Haven't had a beer with him since probably 2003. Yeah, I like Jim. Jimmy's a blast. He's old. That last property, we should be considering for local landmark status or something. That's a very unique building within the city, probably one of the earliest farms on the north side of town. I said 1830s, 1840s. I might even be a little late. The house is almost federal, going into the Greek Revival style. If you're looking at the building, very cool thing. You got that. You got the Gothic place up on Howard, not too far from there. Not a lot of old stuff over on that side of town. Nick, can I ask a question while we're waiting? I see that we've gotten the miniature city relocated to the library. Thank you. I understand we built the foundation to set it on. Okay. I was down there for the past board and I was looking at it. Is there any chance that we could come up with maybe some lucite to surround it so the kids aren't in there? Because I saw a couple kids. Yeah, just a little protective barrier. Do you think we could possibly come up with something like that? Cool. Thank you. Really, because it's too cool to have them breaking little people and stealing little cars off them. It'd be great. So while we're at it, my befuddlement is partially due to my advanced years. This past Saturday, I turned 65, so I've now said goodbye to my youth and I've entered middle age. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My wife was very nice to me.
Make a motion to approve him passing to 65. Motion.
I think you should. I think you should. No. That'd be all right. I'm proud of it. She brought me that shirt. Will you still need me? Will you still beat me when I'm 64? I had to wear it all year. Now I got to send it to my nephew because he's 64 on the 4th of July. Yeah, I'll just put you on speaker. Okay. I don't trust anyone under 30.
Would you like to state your name and address for the record?
James Porto, the address of the property is 17 Jackson Street.
James, thank you for attending via phone. We appreciate it. Looks like the house has some rather serious safety issues and health concerns.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Dylan, can you? We think it has some serious health and safety concerns.
We feel like it has some serious health and safety concerns. Structurally, how is the house?
I mean, there's some issues with the foundation. And even inside, I would say that there's some structural issues. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm tearing it down.
And
As soon as I can get
what are you gonna do with it?
cleared on it.
Do you have a post-use plan for after it's torn down?
Well, we own all the surrounding property there. So our plan is to try to develop that property here with whatever we can possibly do. We've got some different ideas that we've been discussing and trying to work through. But right now it will just be a vacant piece of property. And it would be adjoining to all of our other properties.
So it'll revert to green space pending.
So basically you would revert it to green space, like it's not going to be a driveway or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Okie dokie. Mr. Torto, bear with us. We got some paperwork to get through and then we'll do what we got to do. So I'm going to make a motion to declare Caud lead agency in this matter for 17 Jackson Street. Second, Dan, all in favor? Unanimous.
I'm sorry, I can hear Mr. Dillon, but I can't hear you at all, Bert.
You want to bring the phone over or something? I mean, it doesn't matter.
We're going through the motions to accept the demolition.
He has to stay on the phone. Only has to stay on the phone.
You just have to stay on the phone.
Okay.
I make a motion that 17 Jackson Street is an unlisted action. Jonathan, thank you. All in favor? Mary Ellen, please.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. I therefore make a motion to declare it a negative declaration.
I second the motion. All in favor? Unanimous. Dan, please.
All right, compatibility with historic guidelines. The City of Binghamton Historic Guidelines provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the City of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contains or contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. The building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of the street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. The proposed demolition does not appear to be in conflict with these guidelines. I make a motion to approve the demo.
I'll second the motion for approval of the demolition. All in favor? Mr. Torto, tear your building down, make a nice park or a green space.
You've been approved.
We've been approved. Okay, great.
All right, you have a good day.
All right, thanks for the call.
Okay. You said there was somebody here that wanted to talk? Folks, come on
Like, come on
down.
down from 33 South Washington.
Advance and be recognized. Welcome. Welcome. You get a chance, state your name for the record, please.
My name is Katie Kane.
I'm Bob Costello. I'm Katie's dad.
Welcome.
Here for support.
Maintenance man and janitor too, with the same thing. So.
All around good guy.
Yeah, mine's on.
yes,
Yeah.
Should be on.
Sure.
How's that? The better?
That better?
Okay, now as we have nothing before us, tell us what you want.
I did make a submission. They told me I'd be on the agenda today, but do you have the images?
The application is MIA. I'm not really sure what happened to it. I can't find it in my email and it's not in the case file.
The
So,
ghost.
yeah, it is a
So-
ghost.
I'm a tenant within 33 South Washington Street.
A little
owner-
louder, I'm
Yep.
sorry, young lady.
Tenant within 33 South Washington Street.
Mhm.
Owner is Brett Pritchard and looking to get signage for my businesses.
Okay. Do you have any copies of what you submitted?
Yeah, I forwarded you the email earlier with the plan. And then I gave him a physical copy as well of the application. So there should be one I sent you. You should have gotten a few hours ago.
I remember this. I just don't remember what happened to the application.
We're working with Matzo Signs.
Yeah.
The old number 5 restaurant?
Mhm.
Is the fire pole and the staircase still inside?
It's gone.
Oh,
Yeah, we still have the remnants of where the fire pole was, but no pole.
Any idea what happened to it?
I don't know. And I don't know what happened to the number 5 sign either.
So the proposal was put this on the side of the building, right?
Yeah, I emailed you
Yeah.
earlier. This isn't the plan, sorry.
What does your business do?
I have a women's apparel boutique and we do beauty services as well.
Nice location, busy corner.
Yes, it's great. If you keep going up, it should be at the top. Are there no attachments? Yeah, I'll go get it.
Oh, that's in the building behind those. There's a, they built another plaza building. It's got Marabito and a bank. People's Bank next to it. This is though in the old number 5 restaurant, used to be over there, used to be a fire station. Kitty's in the left-hand side, she's the tenant of that building. She's on the corner.
If we can get the people, yeah.
Juice, isn't that, that's next door. Yep, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. When neighbors.
Yeah. Hang on. What was your first name again?
Katie.
Katie. It's a fine Irish name. It is. That's a good thing, you know. You know, one day a year, everybody's Irish. And by the grace of God, some of us are all year long. It's a good thing. So I talked with Corporation Counsel. That's this nice gentleman in the suit and tie, otherwise known as a lawyer. And because there isn't an application on our agenda, we're not able to vote today.
Right.
But we could do a special session if we could get everybody to find a date once he has all that information. I don't want you to be sitting here going through something that you're gonna have to go through. You know, just being nice and stuff.
Thank you. So I just sent it again. Should be at the top of your inbox. That's it.
So the proposed sign only goes about what, across half the storefront?
Yeah, we have to obviously be careful with the arches and the molding. So it's on the left side.
It's on the left corner.
Yep.
That's where I see it. You blow up that, right? There's the proposed. You can blow that up, they'll be able to see what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
And the business to the right, Project Lean Nation, would do the same design, just on the other side. It's Project Lean Nation. Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then there's a side proposal as well for the side of the building.
That's what I thought. What else do you want me to do? We can't do anything about it today.
No.
Okay,
I mean, do you want to give a straw poll or give advice or
I'm sorry.
advice or a straw poll as to whether it would get approved?
I can't see what's there. So we'll wait for the application.
Okay.
I don't foresee a problem, but we have to see it. Okay, so based on Corp Counsel and Department get the application in. We'll try and set up a special session.
Yeah.
Okay, and because we need to have it in front of us, and I don't foresee a problem at this point, but if it's in the masonry, we have to see how it's attached. It's got to go into the mortar, not the bricks. And then if you're gonna have lighting, we need to have that there too.
Yeah, I know Brett Pritchard would be doing the lighting, like spotlighting. But the application was submitted June 3rd, so I don't know what else I need to do to get it through.
I mean, I'll look for, I remember discussing and I remember talking about it. I just don't remember getting any physical application.
Well, I just gave you that, so does that count as
Yes, it
submission?
does.
Okay,
Yes, it absolutely does.
okay.
Okay, so we now have the application.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just have to generate the staff report. We will either try and do a special session if we can all get together,
Okay,
or you'll be on the next meeting, first Tuesday of August.
okay,
Okay, can't
Yep.
put a sign up until.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we jump anywhere, is there any issue like with historic color palettes or anything for this sign, or have we already?
Got it. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
As a visually challenged person, contrast makes a difference.
Mhm.
And even from here, I could barely read the word tan and apparel. And this is just for like marketing for your purposes, that if those were darker or in some way had an
Right.
outline and stood out, then I
No,
would
good
know
point.
what
It's
the
black
business
outline.
is
Mhm.
versus just simply,
Okay,
especially if you're driving past it and
right,
stuff.
quickly.
Yeah,
That's great, thank you.
absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.
Okay, so just come back to the next COD meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
he'll give you the agenda, or if we can work out something in between, if we can all get together, once he's got this,
okay.
we might be able to meet for,
Katie's in Rochester.
Well, Brett can come and represent.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Or phone call, whatever.
yeah, we could
Just
do
like
it
we did
via
before.
phone.
Yeah.
If we
That'd
can
be
all
nice.
get together for a
That'd be good.
meeting, like in 2 weeks, we might be able to do that.
Okay,
Worst case scenario, it's gonna be the first Tuesday of August.
okay,
Okay,
thank
All
you.
right.
great. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
I got a couple comments for some other properties. West Presbyterian Church, the Italianate home behind it on Walnut Street. 2 or 3 sections now of the original iron fence have become somewhat unattached. And it is a local landmark, I believe. I think we should generate a letter to them that they have to get their fence fixed. It can't just be removed. And also I was looking at the Wells Mansion, which is Parsons Funeral Home. The porch is getting in a greater state of deterioration than it was there before us, maybe 5 years ago. Were you even here when they came before us? I don't think you were. I think it was Sean. I'm sorry. Yeah, Parsons. And some of the crestings are now coming off. They've got a couple of one-bys propped up around what was a beautiful pillar. It is a local landmark. I think it's on the National Register. It's an Isaac Perry structure. We should also be explaining to them that you can't just let that happen, I think that falls to you to draft something and on behalf of to sign it or sign it on behalf of the board. We need a motion to,
I don't know exactly where that building is as far as ownership. I don't know what they're doing with it.
I can find out. Since Roy passed away, I'm not sure who is the controlling entity. Are they even doing funerals there? I mean, I wouldn't go there. It looks like the Dickens,
I have no idea what that building's used for now.
I'm not going for any time soon.
I can't get in touch with them though.
Yeah, find
Can call
out
'em.
because they were here. They had Warren Alpaw, I think, had made an offer to do the work on the building at that time. And they were trying to remove the handrails, which were a later addition to the porch, which we said no because of safety. It's also in the ongoing buildings development. But the porch is coming way down. It's water damage. All they have to do is correct the water damage. And the crustings are coming down. It's
Yeah.
cool building. And then the Italianate, that fence, before the metal thieves grab it and take it away, or they decide they want to remove it, we need to keep that thing going, please. Anybody sees anything around town, let us know. Yes, my dear. I thought so. Yeah. I thought it was on the National Register also. I thought Jimmy McCoy did that years ago. Yeah. I also, yes. The city, my understanding is the city is in the process of taking possession from Mr. Anzaru. I think there's 30 buildings plus minus. Yeah, he owns it.
Yes,
And it's a question of he's not going to jail and there was a deal made that properties get transferred over. I don't know if the city has taken possession of any or all of them yet.
So I don't know if that one, off the top of my head, if that one was on the list of the ones we were acquiring, or because there was buildings that we were acquiring, there were also buildings that were involved in some bankruptcy, foreclosure, probably foreclosure actions that were going on that the city wasn't acquiring because of who owned them, the entities that own them, and which ones we could buy and which ones we couldn't. So I can get an answer as to kind of where it's at, but I don't know
I
off the
did
top of my
see
head
a
if we
couple
own
of the
it
side doors
versus-
where the fencing was down and people were getting back in again about 2 weeks ago. Oh, it's terrible.
I think that's active on the MLS right now. I could have swore I saw it the other day.
There's signs up on most of his properties around town that I was aware that he had. Yeah, the facade is wonderful. Inside's a shell. I was in there 2-3 years ago and you're basically looking right up. There's nothing there. You know, it's a shame. He had another really early property. Maybe Fayette Street, not too far from here. And again, like the building we saw, one of the earliest houses in central Binghamton. It's there. It's all boarded up and covered up. I pointed out to you a year or so ago. Everything around it's worthless, but that thing is a little, it's a gem. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Cool. Any other old business? Any other new business? Then I'm going to make a motion to call the July 2nd meeting of the City of Binghamton's Commission on Architecture, Urban Design, Historic Preservation adjourned. Second, Mary Ellen. All in favor? Happy Independence Day, Thursday, folks. Sir, do you have a question or anything we can help with?